Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and in today's episode we have something, a very new thing which I'm trying, but I'm going to teach you an opening which is very underrated opening, which is not played by top players that much. I mean, they do play it, but they try to play openings like Sicilian Defense or the Caro-Kann Defense, Catalan, many more opening, Queen's Gambit, and all of that. You don't find this opening very much at the top because the theory is actually pretty simple of this opening, and they pretty much know about it, so it is kind of solved. This opening is kind of solved at the top level, but at our level, which is at the beginner, intermediate, or advanced level, it is not, people don't know much about how to play against it, how to play it, or how to play against it, how to counter the opening. So what I will do, I will teach you how to play this opening. It's a very solid opening, and it works against almost all the levels. It got me from 1000 around 1200 to 2000. So you can see that how that people still don't know how to counter or how to play this opening. This opening is the Scotch opening. So let's start. Now white starts with the move e4. Black responds with e5. He played knight f3, knight c6, and there are three move orders white can implement. White can play the move bishop c4, which is the Italian. White can play bishop b5, which is the Spanish, or Rui Lopez, or white can play d4, which is the Scotch opening. Now, the best thing I like about Scotch is that Scotch, white directly asks black a question, what black wants. Black can either take my pawn, black can either play e6 or knight f6, completely ignoring my pawn. And these are the two main variations where people will play against you. So let's see the first variation where people will take the pawn. If they take the pawn, which is the main line, you will simply recapture. Okay. Now, at the beginner, intermediate level, people will try to solve matters instantly. They don't try to put pressure or gain tension in the center. Like, how do you gain tension? How do you put pressure on the center? You add attackers on a piece which is only defended once. So black can play the move bishop c5. Okay, black is attacking the knight twice. My knight is only defended by the queen. So white can either defend it, white can either bring the knight back and attack the bishop, or what white can do is white can bring their own bishop to e3. You are doing two things. You are defending a knight, and you are bringing out a piece. You are developing a piece, right? So it's a good thing. Now, after this move also, people start to they will try not to put more pressure, or they don't know how to put more pressure, so they will just trade everything. This happens almost, like, you will face it almost 60-65% if you are at the intermediate advanced level, but at the beginner level this will happen a lot of the time. Okay, they will play like knight f6, you will simply attack with e5, and you are look at the evaluation bar is already rising. This knight does not have any square. Knight can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. If knight goes to h5, g4 simply traps the knight. Knight is completely trapped. Knight can't escape anywhere. So you will face this a lot of the time if you're at the beginner intermediate level. But if they know something about the Scotch, they will play the correct move, which is queen f6, adding more pressure. You will play c3. Of course, defending your knight. And and he will play like knight e7, bishop e2, and after some point you have a very nice pawn in the center control. There is a knight which is doing a pretty good job, and if they try to take my knight, you have two pawns in the center while black does not have any pawns in the center. Correct. So that's a very big advantage of playing the Scotch opening. Okay. Now, before I want to show something, something very nice. If your opponent plays the move knight f6, knight f6 simply loses the game because there is a very nice tactic behind it, which is after knight takes c6, you attack the queen, and the bishop is hanging. You can't defend both of them. If you try to play an in-between move to trade the bishop first, you lose the queen. So black has to be really careful around all of these variations, and the right move is queen f6. And as I mentioned, that black can get all the pieces in the game. For example, I'm playing bishop e2. Just giving an example. Bishop e2. You will castle. Okay, black will castle. And it looks as if black has now a very nice attack. It does not. The game is equal as for now. But you have a very nice knight in the center. You have a central pawn. You can always push for f4 when possible, and you will have a very smooth game afterwards. Okay, now this was the entire thing after what you do when you have a pawn, when they take the pawn. Okay, when they take on d4. What about they ignore it? What about they play e6? If they play e6, you will never ever take the pawn. You will simply push it. You want to take as much space you can. Even in the last position where we had traded. Just let me give me a second. Over around like over here. White has a very nice center. Look at this, right? Center control. You are taking space. Scotch is an opening which is made to take space. Okay, so even in this, where they completely ignored my attack, you are taking as much space as you can. Knight goes back. You play c4, building up a very nice white center. This knight is like miserably placed. The knight can't actually go anywhere else. Knight can go there, but there is no hope for the knight. You will bring on knight, bring the bishop, castle, and you have this dominant center which is very difficult to break through. What if and it's the same if they ignore your pawn, they will get they will get pushed back by your pawn center and your attack. So after this, even if they play knight f6, you can take also, but this is much better because you are taking all the space in the center. Not this, sorry. You can take this pawn, and if knight takes queen e2, you have some very nice attack. Alright, so these are the three main lines which are the most common. Like, you will face this line a lot. Okay, what if there are other lines also which is weird? Of course, like after this there is an opponent who played queen here, queen e7, Queen e7 was a game where I played in a classical tournament. My opponent had played Queen e7, and at that time I had played the move d5. d5 is a good move. Of course, you can't come jump in the center because you will lose an entire pawn. There are two attackers and only one defender, so you will lose a pawn, right? But you don't need to panic if they don't, capture your pawn, or if they make some other move. Like as I mentioned, there are so many moves your opponent can make, but you have to keep only two common rules for the Scotch opening: that you have to take as much space as you can, and literally that's all. If they take on d4, you will recapture and you have a very nice center. So I hope this was an educational or informative video where how you can actually play Scotch. And Scotch has only two rules which you can use in your game, and they will be real. It is very helpful, and I will assure you that it will get you to your goal rating. So I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.